वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमः भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमः भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
इको नानात्वमन्विच्छन् योगतल्पात् समुत्थिता वीर्यं हिरण्मयं देव मायया व्यसृजत् त्रिधा। एको नानात्वमन्विच्छन् योगतल्पा समुत्थिता वीर्यं हिरण्मयं देवो मायया व्यसृजत् त्रिधा। एको नानात्वमन्विच्छन् योगतल्पा समुत्थिता वीर्यं हिरण्मयं देव मायया व्यसृजत् त्रिधा. Please recite.
एको नानात्मन्विच्छन् योगतल्पात् समुत्थिता वीर्यं हिरण्मयं देवो मायया व्यसृजत् त्रिधा. हरे कृष्णा.
हरे कृष्णा. एको ननाद्भम् अन्विच्छन् योगातल्पत् समुत्थिता वीर्यं हिरण्मयं देवो मायाया भयासृजत् त्रिधा. हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्ण. एको नानात्वम् अन्विच्छन् योगतल्पात् समुत्थिता वीर्यं हिरण्मयं देवो मायया व्यसृजत् त्रिधा. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. Eko nanatvam anvicham yoga tapat samutita chiram hiranmayam devo maya yashagat chitta. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Anyone else want to try? Okay, so we'll go to synonyms. Eka, E, one alone.
అపాయింట్మెంట్ ఉంది పొద్దున్న. ఈ పక్కింటి వాటిలో వాళ్ళు ట్రీ కట్ చేస్తారన్నారు.
Nana, nanatvam, varieties. Anvichan, so desiring. Yoga talpat, from the bedstead of mystic slumber. Samutita, thus generated. Viryam, the semen. Hiranmayam, golden hue. Deva, the demigod. Maya, by the external energy. Vyashrajat, perfectly created. Trida, in three features. This is very instructive, knowledgeable verses we are reading. It could be very technical, but we'll try my best, to discuss and share in simplified way. So here the translation. The Lord, while lying on his bed of mystic slumber, generated the seminal symbol, golden in hue, through external energy, out of his desire to manifest varieties of living entities from himself alone. Purport. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.7 and 8, the creation and annihilation of the material world are stated as follows. Sarvabhutani Kaunteya Prakritim Yanti Manikam Kalpakshaye Punastani Kalpado Vishrajamyaham Prakritim Swam Avastabhya Vishrajami Puna Puna Bhutagramamimam Krishnam Avasam Prakriter Vyasat. At the end of each millennium, the creative forces, namely the material nature and the living entities who struggle in the material nature, all merge together into the transcendental body of the Lord. And again, when the Lord desires to manifest them, all of them are again displayed by the Lord. Therefore, the material nature is working under the control of the Lord. All of them under the agency of material nature and under the control of the Lord are thus repeatedly created and annihilated by the will of the Lord. As such, before the creation or manifestation of the material cosmic world, the Lord exists as total energy, Mahasamasti, and thus desiring himself to be diffused to many, he expands himself further into multi-total energy, Samasti. From the multi-total energy, he further expands himself into individuals in 3 dimensions, namely Adhyatmic, Adhidaivik, and Adhibhautik. As explained before, Vyashti. As such, the whole creation and the creative energies are non-different and different simultaneously. Because everything is an emanation from him, the Mahavishnu or Mahasamashti, nothing of the cosmic energies is different from him. But all such expanded energies have specific functions and display as designed by the Lord. And therefore, they are simultaneously different from the Lord. The living entities are all also similar energy, marginal potency of the Lord, and thus they are simultaneously one with and different from him. At the stage of non-manifestation, the living entities remain potent in the Lord. And when they are let loose in the cosmic manifestation, they are exhibited differently in terms of different desires under the modes of nature. Such differential manifestations of the living entities, energies, are conditional states of living entities. The liberated living entities, however, in the Sanatana eternal manifestation, are unconditionally surrendered souls, and therefore they are not subject to the conditions of creation and annihilation. So this creation takes place by the glance of the Lord from his bedstead of mystic slumber. And thus all the universes and the Lord of the universe, Brahma, are again and again manifested and annihilated. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhisesa Sunyavadi Paschat Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The Lord, while lying on his bed of mystic slumber, generated the seminal symbol, golden in hue, through external energy out of his desire to manifest varieties of living entities from himself alone. Hare Krishna. Good morning. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. I would like to seek blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas. If anything is not clear or I missed it, you can always feel free to interrupt and ask questions. I'll be sharing from some of the references. But here, this verse, this chapter primarily is dealing with, we can see the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. Whole Srimad Bhagavatam here is a very important literature, which is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself stressed so much on Srimad Bhagavatam in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's a whole chapter on glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, what is Srimad Bhagavatam is in sum and substance is basically there's a cause. He proves, he establishes that there's a cause behind everything. There's some cause. Nothing happens automatically in this world. And some cause, that cause is supreme cause. The Srimad Bhagavatam in Sukadeva Goswami, in his explanation, gradually he takes the hearers to that deep understanding that there's a supreme person behind everything that is happening, cause behind everything. Of course, and Srimad Bhagavatam also describes the great souls, great devotees who engaged in devotional service to that supreme cause. When we look into this nature of this material world, when we look into it, we get confused. Everywhere there's a confusion. Everywhere it's not very easy to understand this material world. If this would have been very easy, then why we have so many universities, scientific labs, so many books, just to understand the nature of this world, what it is, how it has been created, and how it is functioning as it is. Every day, scientists, they will find some either new theories and new conclusions. Isn't it true? The science always, they come, they present something, then the next year or after 10 years, they say we found different conclusion. Yeah, that's okay. But the point is, they are looking for the truth. That's the whole purpose of science. They're looking for truth. This material world is made in such a way, even most intelligent will be bewildered. That's the so-called, PhDs and this, they can focus only, they can present only a very tiny subject matter, very insignificant subject matter. It's not possible for them to present overall. Just like when you're sick, when you go to doctor, when you go to hospital, you find so many departments in a medical field. Isn't it true? Can anyone name any of the departments in the medical field? Isn't it true? If you've been to many hospitals. And that too, only on a particular body. So many departments just to understand and cure this body itself. Only one body to study about it and to cure about it. Now we are discussing about the whole universal creation. It's very bewildering. So ultimately, some are trying to prove that there is no cause behind it. There is no superior cause behind it. And someone trying to prove there's a supreme cause behind it. The one who is trying to prove there is no living entity, there is no supreme Lord behind it, they are trying to prove that atheistic view because they want to take claim of it. Oh, I did it. Ahamkara vimudatma kartaram itmanit. I did it. And what is the result? The result is one will remain in darkness. And because of that, suffering is, with darkness comes all these varieties of suffering, birth after birth. Krishna says, I put them into the darkest region of hell. But the other scientists who are studying at the same time, but they are coming to a conclusion that the Lord, there's a person behind everything. So two kind of scientists. Two kind of scientists. Material, spiritual scientists, they do not deny the material creation. Sometimes spiritual science has been presented, devotional science presented as a sentiment, emotion, faith. If that is the case, then why Srimad Bhagavatam has the in whole science of creation? The first canto itself is called creation. Is it making sense so far? Am I making sense? Is it able to understand?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I'm trying my best to put this in complicated subject. So then what is Srimad Bhagavatam is? Because the whole material world is darkness and people are in ignorant stage, getting bewildered to know the truth. So this Srimad Bhagavatam actually brings light into the darkness of this living entities. Without Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no point, no question of knowledge, real knowledge, true knowledge. So that's why the first sloka of Srimad Bhagavatam begins, Janma Darsha Yata Anvad. It mentioned that the whole thing is, the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is that everything in this world has dependency. Everything in this world has dependency. Example, I have eyes. I have eyes. It may have a potency to see, but my eyes cannot see unless the sun is present. Right? Unless sun is present, my eyes cannot see it. So that's why there's a dependency is there. I'm hungry. Hunger. Food versus hunger. There's a dependency. If there's no food, if there's no hunger, there's no question of food. If there's no hunger, there's no question of food. Controller and controlled. If someone is a controller, then someone must be controlled. If someone is being controlled, there must be a controller. So everything in this in this world has a dependency. But the supreme absolute truth doesn't have any, he does not depend, he's independent, Swarat. Why? Because we're hearing, okay, if there's a person exists, what is his characteristics of it? How does he look? What does he do? What is property? Is a person like you and me or something different? So he is independent, but everything in this material world is dependent on each other. Then knowledge comes into the factor. Knowledge means when the question of knowledge comes, there has to be a knower and there has to be a knowable. That's the knowledge comes. Knower means the person who will know the knowledge, have the knowledge, that's called knower. And then what is the subject matter he should know? That's knowable. So knowable can be anything, but the knower has to be a person, a conscious being, because without conscious being, a knower cannot exist. Matter is dull. So if knower is the conscious, the person who is giving that knowledge also must be conscious. Nowadays we get knowledge from Google, Siri, and all the kids. But behind this Google and Siri, there's a conscious person who is actually managing all this thing, right? So somebody is giving us knowledge. So the person who is giving us knowledge is also a living being. So the first knowledge comes from the person with the first person. Knowledge does not develop automatically. If knowledge would have developed automatically, then big business of this America or this world universities, there's no question of having all this, because we depend on that. We depend on somebody who can give us knowledge. Any comments on that? Is it true or not?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We need universities to give us knowledge, teach us knowledge.
Right. So similarly, where the knowledge, who is the first knowledge provider? Tene Brahmanudaya, that knowledge first.
Adi Kavai.
That knowledge first came from a person.
Yeah.
It is from person to person. So Krishna is the first knowledge giver. So even this material world has its own nature. This material world is in nature. The material world manifest and unmanifest. Manifest and unmanifest. So whole knowledge is, transcendental knowledge is to show that, okay, beyond this manifestation and unmanifestation, just like I'm a person, I build a house and break a house. Again, I build it, I can break it out. But I am different from that. I'm a separate person. So similarly, Lord existing before this universal creation and annihilation. So the whole conversation, Sukadeva Goswami is taking us in a journey so that we are deeply convinced that Krishna, is Supreme Being, is ultimate cause of everything, and matter does not happen by itself. The ultimate cause is a person. And then if ultimate cause is a person, then what is its characteristics? What does it do? Where does it live? Why he does whatever he does? And how he does? Isn't it these questions will come? Consecutive questions will follow up. Hey, everybody say that, we go to the temple and people, those who have faith, they go to the temple, they worship. But most of us, we have no idea how he is Supreme Lord. Right? Because we have a faith, we've been coming up with that tradition, and we go and worship. But people from other traditions, they will, or those who don't have a faith, they will challenge. How come you're worshipping a statue? How come he's a god? Who is he? Because they are covered with ignorance. They have no idea that there's a living being behind the supreme, all this creation. So the worship behind a deity, and the worship of a deity, the knowledge behind the worship of the deity is this whole Srimad Bhagavatam. No, it's not a sentiment. It's founded by the very deep knowledge. Even the Bhagavatam was spoken in 4 verses in Bija as a seed. But whole Srimad Bhagavatam is explaining how the Supreme Lord, Krishna, is a cause of all causes. It's not a sentimental. It's a science behind it. So the author, Sukadeva Goswami, takes the forgotten souls from ignorance. What is the ignorance? There's no cause behind everything, the false ego. I am the cause. To a stage, to identify and recognize that supreme cause of everything, who is a person. And that supreme cause of everything, how does he act? When Krishna is explaining his opulences. Oh, I'm so and so. You can see me here. You can see me there. You can. I'm among humans. I'm Arjuna. Among weapons, I'm thunderbolt. Among fish, I'm the shark. Now, all these things sometimes ordinary people say bragging, but it's not bragging unless the Lord says. Then how will we know? We are ignorant stage. Then Arjuna is asking, can I see how you're able to do all these things? Okay, here the universal form. Krishna shows everything you can see in front of me, in front of you, how I do everything. So the Lord expands, he expands into many by his many potencies. He's not like us, if you're given a task, we always become morose. Oh my God, how will I do this? I have no help. But Lord is independent. He has all the abilities to do. He expands himself into many, unlimited. And so today's subject matter is we are discussing for the purpose of creation. He becomes Karana Dakshaya Vishnu. To create this material universe, he incarnates as Karana Dakshaya Vishnu. And interestingly, today's focus will be little on Karana Dakshaya Vishnu only. And there's so many subjects matter we can discuss. Interestingly, from his transcendental body, it has a feature, ability, the water can produce. And why not? We ordinary living entity, we have a sweat also comes from our body. But from his body is not sweat. It's the water which comes, it's like a big ocean. Gigantic ocean, not the ocean like Atlantic Ocean. Nothing. Atlantic Ocean is nothing in front of it. Maybe not even like a mustard seed. Atlantic Ocean. Because why? When we see the Garbhadaksha Vishnu, when he's lying on the Ananta Sesa, the whole universe is like a mustard seed for Ananta Sesa. So then how come Atlantic Ocean has a big, it's all relative. So from his own transcendental body produces water and lies on mystic slumber. And what is that mystic slumber? It's not, you don't sleep. We sleep out of ignorance. But Lord sleeping is, lying is not out of ignorance. He's conscious. Simply by his thinking, he produces everything. Amazing. So what he does is, after lying, he creates, first creator of the material universes. From his pores, interesting, we have poured this, from his pores, it has a potency that all these universes will come. First creator of the material universes. Brahma is the secondary creator, but Lord Karana Dakshaya Vishnu is the first creator. Why? Why? The universes comes from him first. Before Brahma itself comes, the universe is created. The universal shell is created. Now, universal shell is created by earth, water, fire, ether, air, and all these elements. So it means before Brahma comes, the material elements, ingredients are also there. So Brahma is only secondary creator, because Brahma, under the direction of the Lord, takes these material ingredients and produces different species under the direction of the Lord. So Lord Brahma is the secondary creator and Shiva is annihilator. they all come from the Garbhadaksha Vishnu. Because this Garbhadaksha Vishnu is what? Karanadaksha Vishnu expands himself and enters into each and universe and becomes Garbhadaksha Vishnu. The whole universal material universe has a life as a person, as Garbhadaksha Vishnu. Or Kshirodaksha Vishnu. Father, he expands into each and every cell. So, in that sense, why Sukadeva Goswami is explaining all of them is, to insert within us the concept of a person. The concept of person has to be understood. Oh, this whole material universe doesn't work just like that. Matter is not the cause of everything. No, Garbhadaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu is the cause of everything. Where they come from? They come from Karanadaksha Vishnu. So idea is to get whole idea is to, the impersonalism or voidism, or there's no cause behind it. The Srimad Bhagavatam acts like a medicine and cures that and removes those darkness from us and makes us very clear, proper understanding that there is a Supreme Lord behind everything.
That's true.
And even though the Supreme Lord, Karanadaksha Vishnu, Garbhadaksha Vishnu comes from Karanadaksha Vishnu, still they are non-different. And we can say one is smaller than the bigger, because that's the way the Lord creates. They're non-different from one another. And they are supreme independence. They are not dependent on anything. They're supremely independent personalities. So that is what is today's verse. I can give a little bit more on the sloka here. Then I'll share with you on the creation here. So one of the creation here we see from Brahma Samhita is interesting thing. He says that this is Brahma Samhita. Tadroma bila jalesu bijam sankarsanasya cha aimani andani jatani mahabhuta brutani tu. This have you seen any seed, especially you can say the banyan tree. You can say the banyan tree is produced from a tiny seed, and that tiny seed has a potency. It is full of potent. That tiny seed has a potency to become a gigantic tree. We can see a big elephant in walking on the street, in the jungle. Big elephant manifested, from a tiny seed. So similar concept is coming, is the source of similar concept is Mahavishnu. He said the spiritual seeds of Sankarsana existing in the pores of skin of Mahavishnu. Now this Karanadaksha Vishnu, he has pores within his body. Within that body, this pores, the spiritual seed of Sankarsana is existing. Interesting thing. How does it happen? They are born as so many golden sperms. Their characteristics, like they come up with so many golden sperms. They come out from his body, just very tiny. Then what happens? These sperms are covered with 5 great elements. Just like Sukadeva Goswami explains in 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, how the transformation, the body is formed every month, every hour, every minute, every month. The body is come. When the body is complete, the child comes out of the womb. So similarly, how the universes are created by Karanadaksha Vishnu is with his potent. He's with his body. The golden sperms are coming from his, and it gets covered with the 5 great elements, then eventually it becomes a small shell, tiny shell. And that tiny shell grows. I'll read that for all of you. The prime divine avatar lying in the spiritual causal ocean is such a great affair that in the pores of his divine form spring up myriads of seeds of universe. From his divine port, from his pores of his divine form spring up myriads of seeds of universe. So basically, when you look into these universes, they were once upon a time, they were a seed. When you look at a tree, they were once upon a seed. When you look at us, once upon a time, we were a seed in a seedling form. The same principle of creation is that universal creation also works in universal birth also. The birth of universe also comes from the seedling form. Those series of universes are the perverted reflections of the infinite transcendental region. And what are those universes? They are different way. The perverted reflection than the of Vaikuntha. As long as they remain embedded in this divine, in his divine form, they embody the principle of spiritual reflection having the form of golden eggs. Nevertheless, by the creative desire of Mahavishnu, the minute particles of the great elements, which are constituents of the mundane efficient and material causal principles, envelop them. When those golden forms coming out with the exhalation of Mahavishnu, so when Mahavishnu exhales, we all know. So what happens when exhales, these golden forms come out and enter into the unlimited accommodating chamber of the limited potency Maya. Then Lord's Maya Shakti covers, that's where the shells forms. And they become enlarged by the non-conglomerate great elements. So slowly they develop and become a huge universal shell. Now that we can analyze by analyzing a small creation of the Lord, or by analyzing an intermediate size or universe. It's the same principle, creative principle. But why we are discussing, the whole purpose is discussing is that there's a supreme cause, supreme person behind all this creation. Doesn't happen. Srimad Bhagavatam again and again brings back to us understanding Krishna is the cause of everything. Cause of everything is a conscious being. This is a challenge to the materialistic, atheistic society, that everything happens without any cause. But we want to take a name, our own name. As soon as we do something, oh, I did it. Then I want to accept the garlands and rewards and awards and recognitions to claim that I am the doer. If that does not happen, what happens? Immediately we become agitated. Hey, how come I am not recognized? Well, what if the supreme creator, supreme proprietor is not recognized, supreme being is not recognized? Then there has to be a challenge. That challenge is Srimad Bhagavatam and the devotees of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam and devotees of the Lord actually challenging. You see, hey, the real proprietor is this, somebody else. The real cause is somebody else. You all are taking unnecessary credit. So this sloka is similar to this also. The Lord, while lying on his bed of mystic slumber, generated the seminal symbol, golden in hue, through external energy out of his desire to manifest varieties of living entities from himself alone. So varieties of living entities comes from the Lord. So Prabhupada refers this verse from Bhagavad Gita, that in how at the end of each millennium, the creative forces, namely material nature and living entities. At the end of each millennium, when the annihilation, when everything needs to be destroyed, what happens? So everything merges into the Mahavishnu, basically. When different kind of creation happens, and pralaya also happens, different kind of pralaya happens. Partial annihilation, complete devastation at the end of the life of Brahma. Devastation happens at the end of the day of Brahma. Devastation happens at each and every manvantaras. So what is that? What is the nature of the devastation? And what happens when the Brahma also finishes his tenure of 100 years? What happens to this creation? So all this creation again unmanifests. Just like you have a mela or you have a festival you do, you set up everything. We do Rath Yatra, we set up everything, we prepare everything, set up. Whole nice event happens. By 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, everything gets finished. And then nothing has happened. The park will remain same. Everything remains same, but the whole incident becomes unmanifested. So same way, the Lord is remain there, but during due course of time, things manifest from his own potency, and unmanifest annihilation happens. How this happens? The Lord exists as total energy called Mahasamashti. And that Mahasamashti, that Lord desiring himself to diffuse to many, he expands himself further, enters into each and every shell he created, universal shell he created. Multi-total energy, as multi-total energy. So living entities going into that, again coming back to Mahavishnu, going into that at the time of annihilation, again coming, constantly keeps going. But there are living entities who are spiritual world. They don't go through this. And there are living entities who has perfected their life by recognizing the supreme cause, knowing well that the Supreme Lord is everything. I am only servant. I am not the enjoyer. I am not the proprietor. Bhoktaram yagatapasam sarvalokam maheswaram srudam sarvabhutam jnantamam santir muchati. And they surrendered that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those living entities who are pious, who are blessed by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas, Sukadeva Goswami, they don't get into these cycles again and again. They go back to spiritual world. So that's what I wanted to state today. Any questions, reflections, corrections? I'm sorry if it was too much technical.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. You explained very nicely. It's a very, very complicated process. And it puts us in our position also, where we are. Like nothing, our position is very, very, makes us humble.
That's the whole purpose.
Yeah.
That's the whole
Thank you.
purpose. It's like, we in the fingertip, we are swiping the phone and calling somebody, messaging, sending, everything we are doing. When the day phone doesn't work or it breaks, you open, you see, oh my God, what is there inside?
I don't know anything inside that.
Claim that, I know how to operate. I know how to operate.
Yeah.
You know the reality, we don't know anything.
We don't know anything.
Yeah, thank you. And I have one question. From second Sankarshna, Mahaprabhu is the expansion of the second Sankarshna. Karnodakshai Vishnu came from Sankarshna or no?
Yeah. Well, how it happens is Lord Krishna is independent, and the original personality, he expands himself in Chaturviha. 4 personalities. That for everything in the material world, everything in the spiritual world comes from the 4 personalities, always. Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. From them, the 4 further 4 personalities comes, they go to Vaikuntha A. Then another 4 personalities, they go to Vaikuntha B, another Vaikuntha C. So all these Vaikunthas are led by these 4 personalities. Vasudeva is the enjoyer. Sankarsana has his own function, who serves the Lord, accompanies the Lord in each and every Vaikuntha. So similarly, this is another route where the material creation is also happens. That from Sankarsana comes Narayana. From Narayana comes Mahasankarsana. Mahasankarsana comes Mahavishnu, which is Karanadaksha Vishnu.
Okay,
And
so when everything goes into Mahavishnu, so Mahavishnu go into Mahanarayana, Sankarsana go back like that or no?
yeah, because they don't have to go because remember, material Lord's material potency, which is material world, is energy, and it is a temporary manifestation, but it is eternal. Lord's material energy is also eternal. Remember that. Material energy is eternal. Material manifestation is temporary. Example, the festival we do is temporary. But when the potency to the festival is eternal. Make sense? So because due course of time the festival comes and then unmanifest. So similarly, the material nature is there always with the Lord. And that supervision happens through Mahavishnu only.
Okay.
And why Mahavishnu will not again get into merge into Mahasankarsana? Because the conditioned living entity will always be there within Mahavishnu.
Yeah.
Because of the nature of the living entities, we are conditional. We are marginal nature. We may try to go back, others will always try to come. So all this thing is done for the Lord's pleasure. Lord's pleasure.
Okay.
All material creation also happens for the Lord's pleasure.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
that's why there is no reason for him to. This facility will be there, just like you have a house. You have a beach house. You may not go there, but you have a beach house is present. When you go there, the whole house will be clean and prepared and get ready. Sofa will be there, food will be there, and you can go and enjoy.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for asking this question. I'm so glad. I prepared some other verse last night. Then later I realized.
Lot to know.
Yeah.
Not that easy.
Did it make sense? Was it meaningful?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah.
No, you
Things
explain very
became
nice.
clear.
But some minds like me, it takes little time to understand.
Yeah, for everyone of us, it takes time to understand.
Yeah. It's a lot to know about Bhagavatam, Prabhu.
Yeah, that's the whole.
It's not that simple. It's not that simple. I buy those Bhagavatam, set of Bhagavatam and I'll keep it in my house. No, that's not that simple. Each and every sloka, each and every canto. Now we are going through these cantos. That's why I sit in the morning every day. But how much is going into my brain? Not even mustard seed.
Well, that at least you're sitting there. That's the purpose of the human life.
No, that is not. But how much I'm getting into, I'm not able to absorb that.
Bhagavatam has its own potency, its sound incarnation. You get purified and everything gets revealed to us. Everything gets revealed.
Lot to know. Even Bhagavad Gita, we read Bhagavad Gita, that is the expansion of Bhagavatam, actually. I see that now. See, when we are reading this Bhagavatam, I'm attending the classes. So I see that how much Bhagavad Gita is very simple, small one. But even that I found it is very hard. So that expansion is Bhagavatam is coming each and every sloka. Oh God.
Bhagavad Gita is a Bhagavad Gita is a summary.
Yeah.
And what is the summary? Sarvadharman Parityaja.
Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Vraja.
The whole idea is to surrender to me. The whole question is why to surrender to him?
Yeah.
And who is that personality to whom we are surrendering? So our surrendering is very gradual actually. The more we know, the more we get to know, then we'll be more and more submissive to him.
Yeah. That brilliant Arjuna couldn't get it, For a few chapters, he was just debating, he was asking. But, after he shows the Visvarupa only, universal form, then only he realizes how much he has in this world and how much Krishna has. He was simply thinking he's a friend and that's all he was playing with him. But that was really, really a lot of things to know, Prabhu. It's not enough. 10 times we read Bhagavatam also, it may not go.
Well, that Lord accepts and everyone accepts. We cannot know. The purpose of sitting here is an endeavor to know, remember him.
Yeah. It's
not that we will know. We will never be able to know Lord in his full potency. Because a tiny insignificant living entity cannot know the complete whole.
That's true.
Even it is said that his expansions also will not be able to know.
That's true. For example, I go to doctors. For one doctor I go, that he is the only specialist in heart. The other doctor is specialist in some other part of my body. The other doctor is specialist in some other body part. Not whole body one person knows. So they know a little bit only, but they cannot tell anything.
That way, tiny body.
That's for tiny body.
It's about a tiny body, human body.
Yeah.
So much of knowledge, so much of...
Thinking about Krishna, how much he has to do for us, and how many things he has to handle, how many things he needs, he knows that. So that's very much big knowledge. Thank you very much for explaining us, Prabhu.
Any other comments, questions, or should we stop here?
Your class also reminded me about the shloka 15.15. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mata smriti jnanam apohanam cha vedesya
sarvam ahameva
vedanta ved eva chaham. Means Krishna is the knower and compiler, and he is to be known from the Vedas. That's what I was thinking about that.
Whole Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for that, to know Krishna.
Yeah.
That's simple. To know Krishna, we serve Krishna. How we serve Krishna? The way the great devotees in Srimad Bhagavatam, they serve Krishna. And how we demonstration was given in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yeah.
How to serve, Thank you so much for your kind audience and attention.
Thank you very much for nice class.
Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Vanchakalpatarubhyasya patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavi